Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the another new class. I am Dr. Noreen Khan, lecturer of Biochemistry Department. Today we will start about the new topic. The topic name is water homeostasis. In the previous class we discussed about the total body water distribution. In the total body water distribution, we mentioned that in the total body water, it will be different amount in case of different age, such as for infant and children, total body water is 75 to 80%. In case of early fetal life, it is 95%. In case of adult male, it is 60%. In case of adult female, 55%. In case of elderly male, 50%, and in case of elderly female it is 45%. So, under this banner water homeostasis, we will discuss fourth topic, that is total body water, distribution of total body water, water balance and regulation of water balance. So, total body water, which we discussed previously, such in case of adult male it is 60%, in case of adult female it is 55%. And distribution of total body water, we imagine a 70 kg adult female whose total body water is about 60% of body weight, and that total body water 42 liters, 60% will be distributed among ICF and ECF. ECF was 14 liter and ICF was 28 liter. And ECF was further distributed again plasma and interstitial fluid, and interstitial fluid was distributed lymph and transcellular fluid. That is the distribution of total body water. These two topics we previously discussed. Now we will discuss another two topics, water balance and regulation of water balance. At first we will discuss about the regulation of water balance, then I will discuss water balance. What is the regulation of water balance? Normally, regulation of water balance, it is maintained by two mechanisms. Number one is ADH mechanism and number two is thirst mechanism. ADH mechanism, antidiuretic hormone. ADH means antidiuretic hormone. It is secreted from the posterior pituitary gland of our thalamus. So, from posterior pituitary gland, from the pituitary organ, it is secreted. It is regulated by the renal water excretion and renal water retention. So, ADH mechanism is controlled by the regulation of renal water excretion and renal water retention. And ADH mechanism will be stimulated by plasma hyperosmolarity and hypovolumia. And thirst mechanism, second one is thirst mechanism. Thirst mechanism will be stimulated again by the plasma hyperosmolarity and hypovolumia. So, in case of regulation of water balance, it is done by two mechanisms. Number one is ADH mechanism and number two is thirst mechanism. By these two mechanisms, regulation of water balance completed. Now come to the in case of water deficit. If there is a deficiency of water, if there is a negative water balance, there will be increased extracellular fluid osmotic pressure, and this causes hyperosmolarity. And then osmoreceptor will be stimulated, and this will stimulate the thirst center, and through the mouth and pharynx we will increase more water intake for increased thirst mechanism. Because thirst center, when it will be stimulated, our hunger for water will be increased. So, we will take more water. And on the other hand, if there is a water deficit which causes hypovolumia, decreased volume of the extracellular fluid compartment, which causes baroreceptor inhibition, sympathetic nervous system stimulation, increased renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system activation, and increased renin secretion and increased angiotensin 2 secretion. Ultimately, it causes increased ADH secretion, and this ADH will causes increased amount of renal water retention. Ultimately, increase intake of water and increase renal water retention. By these two mechanisms, in combination of thrust mechanism and ADH mechanism, restoration of the ECF osmotic pressure, which was high due to water deficit, and vice versa will occur. If there is a excess water, there will be hypoosmolarity and hypervolemia, and there will be osmoreceptor inhibition, there will be in decreased thirst mechanism, we will less water, we will take less water, and in case of hypervolemia, there will be decreased ADH secretion, and decreased ADH secretion means increased renal water excretion, and ultimately by the decreased water intake and increased renal water excretion restore the ECF osmotic pressure. This is the regulation of water balance, which is done by ADH mechanism and thirst mechanism. Now come to the point, what is water balance? This water balance is maintained by water intake and water output. Water balance. What we take, that is intake, and through different way from our body, that will be excreted from our body, that is output. Water intake and water output. Obviously, these two will be same amount. Which amount we take, same amount will be excreted through our body. Then our system will be normal. If there is a disturbance between intake and output, there will be disturbance in our body system. So, intake always through drinking water. We drink more water. By through drinking water, we will take 1250 ml. Through food water, we take, through different types of food, we take 1200 ml. Through oxidation of food, we will take 300 ml. So, total our intake is 2750 ml per day. Every day we take 2750 ml, and output will be the same. Then our physiology is normal. So, output will be through urinary system, it will be 1500 ml. Through skin, it is 500 ml. Through lungs, it is 700 ml, and through feces, it is 50 ml. So, as a whole, it is also output 2750 ml per day. So, through skin, by perspiration, it is 500 ml. Through lungs means by expiration, its another name is transpiration. So, normally intake through drinking water, food water, and oxidation of food, total 2750 ml per day, and output through urine, skin, lung, feces, same 2750 ml per day. Normally intake and output will be always same. If we intake 100 ml per day, obviously output will be 100 ml. So, here in total day we take 2750 ml, output will be the same. So, if output and intake will be same, then our physiology we can call it normal. So, this is the water balance which can be defined by intake and output, and regulation of water balance we described by ADH mechanism and thirst mechanism. Normally, in case of regulation of water balance, we told about the osmolarity. So, in case of osmolarity, we have to know the plasma osmotic pressure. Our plasma osmotic pressure is 280 to 300 milliosmol per liter, and main plasma osmolarity is maintained by the sodium chloride, because in case of plasma osmolarity, solute are the main contributor, and sodium chloride contributes 92% and other solute contributes 8%. So, sodium chloride is the main contributor to maintain the plasma osmolarity. So, in case of increased plasma osmolarity means hyperosmolarity means sodium chloride level is increased, and in case of hyperosmolarity always hypovolemia causes, and ultimately that will be stimulate the ADH mechanism and thirst mechanism, and we will take more water, and more water, renal water retention occurs, which restore the extracellular fluid volume and extracellular fluid osmotic pressure. So, that is all about the water homeostasis. So, today's lecture we completed water balance and regulation of water balance. In the next class, inshallah, we will start the new topic. Thank you all for your patience and hearing. Allah Hafiz.